step into the haunted halls of Spooky School. Each week, we take the fearless Jimmy on a journey through uncharted horror territory as we introduce him to spine-tingling movies he's never seen before. Beware, dear listeners, for the chilling tales we unravel may leave you sleeping with the lights on. Here are your hosts, Professor Spooky.
Welcome everybody to Spooky School! I'm so glad that you could all be here for another episode. Quite a lot has happened since the last time I saw you. I finally released my first full-on YouTube video. So if you go to youtube.com/#spooky, you can subscribe to watch a series of videos that I'm making on every single subgenre of horror. We just released the first one, which is all about cosmic horror and the history behind it all. So it's just me talking for 30 minutes about all of my favorite spooky stuff. Please go tune in and watch it. I would really appreciate it and appreciate you for watching us. So
I've seen the video. I heavily endorse it. It's rad. I could not even wrap my mind around cosmic horror till I watched it, and gotta say, it's sick. So
you're so sweet. Thank you. How have you been?
Well, it'd be a lot better if I actually watched a rom-com.
Oh, are you okay? You look kind of like actually mad.
I mean, like, no, I'm not actually mad, but like, you know, my wife wasn't happy.
Oh, shit. Okay. Well, all right. Look, in my defense, this was a romance movie, like, up until
It wasn't.
near the very end.
Yeah. Like, to be fair, a solid 2/3 of the movie really was just like, was just the romance, and it just had the absolute wild twist, and now I've slept on the couch for a week, so that's...
I'm not sorry,
I
and at the same time, this is your fault for listening to me, so...
Listen, you thought I would learn. I thought that there would be some resemblance of, like, House from 1977, but it's, you know...
Good movie.
Great movie.
Great movie.
But yeah, this is a much different tone.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit.
Slower paced of a film. Not a hard cut every 15 seconds.
No, much longer. In fact, most cuts are well over.
Yeah,
like
there's a lot of cuts in this, especially at the end too.
Oh,
so
yeah.
we'll get into it. Let's give some backstory here. I don't know. Have you ever heard of Takashi Miike?
No, I don't. No, I haven't. I should say.
Takashi Miike has directed well over 100 films at this point.
Dude.
Yes, man is quite literally insane.
How?
And by insane, I mean the most creative genius that we've probably had in a generation.
I mean, like, that's not taking vacations at all.
No. Why would you take vacations? You got movies to make.
I guess so.
There is cinema to produce.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're not wrong, but damn, that's a lot.
It is a lot. I first saw this movie in, I want to say, 2010, 2011. I definitely was in, like, my very early 20s. And it was a movie that... I think like only DVD copies of it existed way back when.
Oh, yeah?
And the bitrate on those was not the best.
No.
I might as well be watching a VHS copy with like a blanket over my head.
Yeah.
Especially since I may have been watching a rip of the movie. So that kind of does deteriorate the quality of the film quite a bit.
Well, to be fair, my wife had a similar experience as she was watching it through the 7 pixels
going
out
like
of
that.
her hand. Yeah.
But it wasn't until, I want to say 2016-ish, around then, Arrow Video released a 2K version of the movie.
Okay.
That is so insanely good. Like, the restoration on that looks amazing. I remember, like, seeing that made me feel like I was watching the movie for the first time.
Damn.
And like the level of detail on that, we're jumping through the plot here. You remember, like, near the very beginning when father and son are going out on a fishing trip together?
Love that scene. Yeah.
It is so high detail that you can see water splashing onto the lens of the camera. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
So if you don't have I don't know how you were able to watch it, but I own the movie. I watched the 2K version of it, and that is like the definitive version for me.
I mean, if I ever rewatch this movie, I will definitely seek out the highest format I can. Although for the listeners out there, It's on Tubi, and Tubi is a free streaming platform that's also awesome and filled with B movies of all genres.
All right. Yeah,
so.
Tubi's the way to go because as soon
Tubi's-
as something
Tubi's
horrible
legit.
happens, it always cuts to like some sort of like dishwasher commercial or some shit.
And there's no warning between the commercials either. It's literally like something's happening, and then Tubi and Freevee and all that stuff kind of have the same thing. I've been watching a lot of Top Gear, and there's no way that they don't do this on purpose, but so one of the presenters would just be like, well, now I have something to tell you. And then it immediately jumps
Just
to
cuts to
commercial.
the
And I was like,
commercial.
there's no way that they didn't plan that. All right. There has to be a job of some dude just sitting there watching all the episodes going like, and here would be hilarious. And here would be great. But yeah,
That
Tubi
should
is the
be
exact
your
same
job.
way. It should be my
Because
job.
you're like the #1 Top Gear fan.
Dude, let me tell you. Talk about 4K restorations. I don't care how much it costs, BBC. Seasons 1 through, you know when to stop. But just do it. Just release it for me.
All right, you know what? Let's switch chairs real quick. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Just come on, let's swap.
Okay.
We're gonna do experiment.
All right.
All right. Hopefully, I'm talking directly into this, but all right, your turn. You just assign me an episode of Top Gear, and then we'll.
Okay. Then, listen. If you're going back into the... Now, it's all... Do you have an Amazon account?
Yeah.
Okay. It's all free on Amazon.
All right.
You have the ads. You have that. I think that the best place to start is going to be... God, there's so much good stuff. I don't want to start you too early because I feel like you got to go back and watch those after you appreciate all the camaraderie.
All right.
But I don't know the exact season of this, but I'm going to need you to watch the episode where the trio take 3 convertibles and they go into Baghdad.
Okay.
So
As it's being bombed.
it's not. Yeah,
All right.
actually, it pretty much is just like, and they literally drive all these convertibles, and they're all drop tops, and they have nothing but all of the bulletproof vests and helmets as they're driving around town, and they're literally like airdropped off by a carrier, and they have a map, and they're like, okay, you start here in a war zone, and you have to drive to here, which only is through like 900 different war zones on the way there. By the way, you have cars that break down easily and quite literally don't have tops on them. That's the best
All
one.
right. Stay tuned next week for Top Gear School.
Yeah, we're gonna etch in the actual season and episode right there
Right
on the
there.
bottom. Yeah. That's a good question. They really got my gears turning.
Your Top Gears. Ha ha.
Yeah.
All right. Give this a second to make sure we didn't just fuck up our whole entire microphone setup.
No, we're good. You have a really comfy butt pillow.
Thank you. It's for the
Yeah.
hemorrhoids.
Yeah. I didn't realize I needed those till I just wiped.
I don't wipe because I don't let shit bother me.
See, that's one of those where it's like that's I should know that one. And
You
I
should,
don't,
and now
I
you
don't.
do.
Yeah, it's true. I do now. So
Well, I'm glad that we have like such a slow, in-depth conversation here about one of my favorite movies of all time.
yeah.
The main reason why I wanted to wait so long before I show you this one is to kind of just give you the broad spectrum of like J-horror. Because we get the ghosts, which are the most classic when it comes to Ringu. We have the tales of just soul-crushing depression with Pulse.
Yeah.
The absolute gonzo whack shit with House.
I mean, they've really run the gambit on all the ways that you can be scared.
Exactly, yeah.
It's cool. And having really no experience with Japanese cinema whatsoever, this was I didn't realize that there was like another angle that we can hit. It was like kind of felt like Pulse in some aspects, but totally different.
I love this one. Out of all the movies I've shown you, I feel like this is the most human because we get to know our characters more than any of the other movies that we watched. We get to know their motivations, what makes them like tick. We want to see them succeed.
Yes.
Like there were points where like I straight up forgot like, oh yeah, this is going to be a horror movie. I just
Right.
wanted their relationship to work out.
Right.
Even if it was started off under some dubious circumstances, right?
Which we'll get into.
We'll get into.
Are they dubious? Yes, but are they wrong? It's 2023, man.
Ends justify the means, all right?
Yeah. Literally. But yes, I fell in love. Now, I can't. I'll just be straight up. I can't pronounce his name. But
Of any of the characters?
I got Asami down.
Asami's pretty easy, yeah.
Yeah. But the dad, the most endearing dad, the just trying to be a good guy, the guy who really stepped up when he needed to be just a hero in the shitty situation that he was put in, and then also like is the person you're rooting for the most in the whole movie, and just happens to make a few bad decisions along the way.
Dubious decisions. But you know what? Whomst among us have not done anything dubious.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. Yeah. I've been arrested 7 times.
He who is not dubious cast the
joking.
first stone.
Yeah.
You do feel for him in the beginning. I'm going to attempt to pronounce this. Shigeharu. Definitely not even close. Shigeharu. As soon as this movie starts, his wife is just killed instantly.
It starts
ripped
off-
this movie off.
Yeah, they really did. From start to finish, actually.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah. No, this movie starts off so bleak. And, like, I understand why it needed to have the opening that it did to put you exactly of when the dad, like, really just needs to kick into gear. But, like, yeah, it just starts off. We get a little boy walking through the hospital hallways holding a project and walks into this room where he sees his very brand new deceased mother and father just kneeling by the side of the bed, broken, and goes like, I was going to show this to mom. And it's just like,
Mom can't see anything right now.
No.
Because she's gone.
There's one giant white light, and only if you believe it. Like,
Exactly. If you don't believe it, then it's fire.
yeah. It's a red light.
It's a red light.
Mom was a whore. Anyways. Yeah,
At least he didn't say female.
that's true.
Yeah.
It'd be way worse context. Right.
So we cut from that to later on in life, and here you get a real sense that our main character, Shigeharu, who I'm just going to call the dad from now on because I don't know how to pronounce that.
Yeah, I got you there.
You get their whole dynamic in just one scene where it's pretty obvious that throughout this father's entire life, he's always put his son first and
Yeah.
put his career first and really done everything that he can to put the people around him first without really focusing in too much on his needs.
Yeah. I mean, the fishing scene was so good to just really nail the point that it's like he raised this kid.
Mm-hmm.
He did the good job. I mean, the kid
And did a good job raising him, too.
Right. And they're out fishing for dinner. It's not even like a leisure, like, hey, all right, come on, I hear people like to do this. It's like, no, we're getting dinner. And we're not stopping by the supermarket. We're stopping by the Pacific Ocean.
Mm-hmm.
Like, with giant waves crashing by. So it's legit fishing, too. It's beautiful. And one of these days I'll find that exact spot just to go. But I will not be talking to anybody.
I definitely will not be bringing my kids there
No.
because they'll fall in and then I'll get sad.
Yeah. In how good that he has revealed to us that he raises kids, he right after that reveals just how horny and far away from women he's been for maybe not even horny, but just like far away from women he's been, where they catch this fish. And then the son was explaining how the fish chooses whether or not it's going to be male or female for like the biodiversity of the ocean. And then the dad goes like, oh, well, what is the fish then? And he's like, Dad, you saw the ovaries. And he's like, I don't know much about ovaries. Such a good line that is like super depressing. And then like while this whole shot is going on, it is a perfect long shot of like the dad's back. You see the sun facing. It's like if the camera was behind me and we were just like sitting eating dinner. And it's the coolest, just longest, driest shot of like bleak existence in a way, but it not necessarily for the for anyone's situation other than his mental health.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was a really well said thing visually about this, where he's like, it's not it's not bleak in the sense of like it's gray and it's raining outside and everyone is like listening with their hoods on and everything. But it's just, you can just tell, especially with his back towards the camera and everything, that it's like, this dude is sad. And it's a bummer.
This is what I mean by cinema is a universal language. And it's a visual language as well, where you're able to, without having anything really told to you and without even speaking the native tongue that the movie's in, you're able to just pick up on this information. And it's cool that you brought all that up without even, I don't know, being subconscious to it or actually aware. But yeah, you're completely right. And a lot of that too, that one kitchen scene you're talking about, the way that it's shot feels very flat, mundane, and boring. Just like our main character's life.
Yeah, just not a whole lot going on, unfortunately, for him. And definitely no ovaries, but...
Not a lot of those.
No. But, yeah, right after that, we get a little shot of his work life. And we get to go back to his office a little bit. And, you know, again, we're telling this linearly, and I don't want to give away too much, but the scene struck me in a way where knowing how the movie ends now and then looking back at this scene in particular, it's just like, listen, don't have your standards too high, all right? If someone likes you, just go on a date with them. You don't have to do crazy, because he clearly has an admirer at the office that he has just ignored for his entire life, who is... Well, definitely out the door already, because she goes up to him and goes, "Hey, I'm getting married." And he's like, "Oh yeah, congratulations." And the girl's just like, "I just wanted to know what you would like feel about that." And he's like, "Oh no, yeah, like congrats or whatever." And it's like, dude, she could have been yours. Okay?
Could have.
She could have, should have, would have. Could have jumped on it. Maybe there would have been a more maternal figure in your son's life anyways, but we'll see. He's already doing a great job.
Already doing fantastic. Maybe that couple can adopt him later. We then cut later on to where it is father and his best friend, who, again, I'm not even going to attempt to figure out how to pronounce his name because I'm not a native Japanese speaker. Sorry.
For future module reference, my extra mental learning power is either being taken up by learning mixing and mastering techniques or the Spanish language. So if you got any Hispanic horror movies for the next module, like, I'm super down. This Japanese one was hard to go on.
We're going to get into Italian movies before we do get into
Closer.
Either Hispanic or Mexican horror films.
Oh, yeah. The Chupacabra.
Yeah.
Like, Italian's close enough. Don't be offended by that. Learn a language. They're fucking this.
I barely have a grasp on English, so I'm just glad all these movies are subtitled.
Yeah.
But all for the movies that are in Spanish, we're just going to make sure there's no subtitles on them.
Yeah, I better learn it. I better master the language quick then.
So we go from there and we cut to just a dingy looking bar with these just very two sad businessmen smoking cigarettes.
Just a couple of bummers.
And across from them are a group of giggling girls. And in the most old man boomer way possible, best friend takes a little puff on his cigarette and he's just like, ugh, modern women with their standards and happiness and their own bank accounts. Disgusting.
What are they, independent? Ugh.
I remember when they weren't even allowed to drive. It was better that way. Now they won't talk to me because I have to have things to offer in order to get in a relationship.
Dude. Yeah, that definitely bled through all sides of that.
Yeah.
Guys, all right, whatever.
Calm it down here, pal, all right?
Yeah.
But it's here where main character dad is just like, my son's even saying that I'm so lonely. I need to start going out there again.
Yeah,
Maybe I should start doing something about that whole love life thing, huh?
He's had no reaction to love for so long that now his son's hormones are starting to just make him horny.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's so horny that he realizes that dad hasn't had sex since I was a boy. Since I'm here. Oh shit, I better get my dad laid and also out of the house because I'm trying to hit this other girl.
If my dad's an incel, what chance do I have?
It's not looking good.
No.
No.
But I guess he's more like a volcel than he is incel then, huh?
Yeah, I mean, that work lady could have provided some...
Could have, but didn't.
Not.
Just make better choices, I feel like, is the overall moral of the story here.
Single people, keep your eyes peeled.
Or just stay single.
That too.
Yeah, if he would have just
It's a lot
stayed
cheaper.
not horny, he would have...
Yeah.
Things would have worked out a lot better for him.
Bank account. Loneliness. Bank account. Loneliness. Well, he kind of pitches this idea of where the TV business. He said that it doesn't. I guess they're in a recession right now, and the TV business isn't affected by recessions, and so they still have like money to burn on projects that could be thrown away. And so, in order to get him to find a woman for him, they're like, let's come up with a TV show and shoot for like the main heroine, and then that'll just be like whatever you desire for your date.
Mm-hmm.
Just have this big old fake audition, which is just way too on the nose for not only how shitty actual Hollywood works, but then just whole types of categories on websites that we can't mention.
Yep.
Like, it's just like, it's a pretty universal, funny, like, which came first, the chicken or the egg? But of course it feels dirty when you're first thinking about, like, you guys are doing what? You guys are going to like that? But then also, like, this is the land before Tinder. All right, this is just what Tinder is IRL. All right? But
Less dubious, I would say. But
Well,
other than that, yeah.
I don't know. The same dudes are on there.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
Well, the same dudes are on there, but none of them were promising them fame and fortune in order to get through it.
that's true. Yeah.
I
that's good.
wonder, like, I feel like it's unintentional, but it is way ahead of its time with, like, the whole Me Too thing that happened, right?
Oh yeah.
Of how this was very common of producers going like, look, I want to put you in this movie, but you got to do me a favor first.
Right.
And definitely like taking advantage of the power that they had over these people.
Yeah.
I wonder, because I don't know if Takashi Miike really thought like, oh yeah, I should put that in the movie as the message, or if it was one of those things of just like, I'm going to put this in here and it's just going to fly over my head completely.
Yeah, that's true. It could be 50-50. I mean, the premise seems a little too on the nose for it not to be talking about something that, I mean, is going to be prevalent in any movie industry or any industry where there's like power involved. So I would imagine that there is some cases of realism that this just goes forth and conquers. But at the same time, yeah, we're giving a lot of credit to Mystery. Who knows? He's one of your favorite directors, so I'm not going to take any credit from him. But also, from making 100 movies, like, how good can your brain actually work? All right?
This is true, and I should look this up, too, because, like, Takashi Miike directed this. I'm not sure if Takashi Miike wrote it. I do know that it is based off of the novel of the same name by Ryu Murakami, which actually, somewhere in this big pile I have.
Whoa.
In fact,
You got a hard copy? Whoa.
based on the novel, which
Nice.
go ahead. It's called a book. You probably have never read one before.
It's been a while.
It's pretty much beat for beat
The-
of the
really?
movie, yeah. So I wonder if like the writer of the novel had like the idea of like I want to have something there that's a little bit of a message of just like this is how scummy it is, the audition process, how like power can be taken advantage of if you're working in these kind of fields.
Yeah.
Or if it's just kind of like bringing it to Night of the Living Dead. We're going to talk about that movie later on, but that was one of the first horror movies to have a black lead actor.
Yeah.
And George Romero, when he casted a black lead in 1960s America, thought to himself, I don't mean anything by putting him in there. What are you talking about?
When it was totally like, hey, here's a big F you to the movie industry right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I definitely like that kind of covert directorial, like, was it my bad? Who knows?
Who knows? I'm just here to grill my burgers. I don't want to talk about politics or anything like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I'm just here to have fun and make a little movie.
It's a zombie movie. Don't ask how I got the meat.
Exactly, yeah. Or it's my movie about doing auditions. I'm not trying to say anything bad about our industry at all.
No.
Why would I do that?
Yeah.
I'm just a guy.
I'm just a guy. You know, right on the next scene, this was one of the times where I unintentionally laughed pretty good, which is we meet the boy's young love interest for the first time. And what are they talking about?
Dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs, dude. A young love starting with dinosaurs, that they're going to have the happiest of marriages.
This is why I need to look up who it is that actually wrote the movie. So give me 1 second here, because whoever did definitely has kids. Because
Yeah.
every single kid in the world has had a dinosaur phase.
Oh, I'm still in it.
Oh, there's two people, and the novelist is credited as one of them.
Sick.
So there you go. So before our audition scene, our main character is just going through all of these piles of letters and pictures and everything. Nothing's really clicking with him until he picks up this one letter and reads this heartbreaking story about a woman who, her name's Asumi, and she's talking about how much she loved ballet, but because of an injury, she couldn't do it anymore. And talks about how because she doesn't have ballet anymore, she has like this part of her that's missing, and she doesn't have really anything to live for. And he relates to that because ballet to her is what his wife was to him. And without that, he just has that piece of him missing.
I mean, that's a stretch, ballet and a wife. But no, I'm kidding. But yeah, I mean, the guy's obviously looking for a sob story. Like, he's definitely not looking for someone that's like, I like going to the beach and cocaine. Like, he's definitely trying to find someone with deeper meaning, which has been like presented a couple of the times. So it's funny that it came out through a ballet, through everything else that happened, and especially like even comparing the ballet to the dead wife, like, definitely makes sense. But then it's like, all right, you're basing your relationship because you guys are both sad.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
You guys get to trauma bond together.
yeah, it's super healthy, dude.
That's how you have a healthy relationship. You find somebody in the same rehab clinic as you.
Yeah,
And then you just bond from there.
we can totally make this work because we don't need drugs. And then you're
We
like,
just
you know
have
what would
each
make
other.
this better?
You know what would make this so much cooler?
Yeah. Oh.
All right. And then we move on to our actual audition scene. There is this great part before the audition happens where he's walking through the room filled with all these girls, and he spots her from a distance. And it's
Yeah.
Asumi, and her back is to the camera. We don't really see her. This is great because there's no trace of horror yet, right?
No.
Whatsoever. But this is a classic horror technique because so many great horror movies don't show the monster right away. There's a lead up. There's a build up to it, right?
Yeah.
And we're getting built up to who we don't know yet is our monster.
Yep.
The audition happens, and it's this really cool, pretty quick paced like montage scene where all these girls come in, they talk about themselves. It's pretty scummy at some points where they're just like, can you just take your clothes off and spin around for like a little bit, you know?
Yeah. And there's this like really lighthearted Pixar music underneath the entire thing, and it just makes the whole thing sound fun.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, because that's honestly what it was. No matter what your genders were, if the genders were reversed, or if what you were into was the thing that's going on, like, there's no way that wouldn't be. It's scummy, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, just a little bit.
There's no way that it would be unfun though.
Can you just pull your pecker out a little bit for us?
Yeah.
Give it a little stroke. It's for the movie, yeah.
Right. Give it a nice little helicopter, okay? There you go.
Can you turn around, bend over, and just make a knuckle disappear for us? Yeah, that's what we would need to see.
All right, Harvey.
I'm just trying to audition for a movie here, okay?
That's fair.
I have a line of hot boys outside that I need to audition for this role.
Hot?
Boys.
Okay.
Men. Dudes. Hunks. Again, you brought it up. Gender's reversed. Whatever. Moving on.
Yeah.
What are we talking about again?
Yeah, really.
Oh, yeah, House, 1977.
House, 1970s. Yeah. Oh, wait.
Great. Oh, wait. Audition, 1999.
Yeah.
So we move on from that audition scene. We meet Asami, and instantly you can just tell that, like, he's in love with her.
Yeah.
He wants her. This is the one that he has picked out, and he wants to make it happen, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, even in her, like, little sob story, like, personally, I know we live very, very different lives, and I'm not a 60-year-old that has raised a kid and gone through tragedy. I'm a 27-year-old who really hasn't amounted to much, but it's
you'll get there, buddy. Don't worry.
Yeah, right. But the interview that Asumi does is, in my opinion, just like, I know she's supposed to be like a proper lady and like present herself as such and everything, but like I just in real life I'd be so freaked out by like that whole package. But I suppose that's exactly what, well, obviously not even suppose, that's exactly what this guy was looking for too, because it was a total no-brainer for him, whereas like me seeing this, Then again, I am way more of the beach goer instead of the old man fisherman. So we'll see in the next 15 years if my opinion changes on that part. But it was funny because kind of knowing the like what might go down around in the movie. It was one of those things where I'm like, yeah, it's not selling me. But then again, if it was supposed to sell me in where I am right now, it would be some like triple G cup, spicy lady that's just like, oh, dude, I don't know, you want to go to Wild Waves? I'd be like, fuck yeah, dude.
Fuck yeah, bro,
and then
let's
she'd
go.
throw me off the roller coaster.
You're listening to the Spooky School Podcast. Be sure to leave the video a like, as it really helps out the channel. Subscribe for weekly podcasts delivered to your inbox every Friday. Now let's get back to the show.
So take me through your mind here. What is going through your head the first time seeing this?
I mean, like, not knowing where it's going, I just thought that it was kind of a little strange concept, but I saw the romance in it, and I saw, like, where it could build, and, especially just coming from, like, generic American cinema for being 90% of the stuff that I watch, is, like, you watch it, and I not thinking really much anything of it other than just, like, cool, the guy's in love, and they're going to go on some dates, and, like, here it goes, and also, I've learned enough not to, like, totally trust you. And so, I know.
Thanks, pal.
Yeah. I know. I'm
Love
aware.
you too, buddy.
Yeah, right. I'm aware that some shit's about to go down at, like, some corner, but it wasn't. It definitely didn't give any, like, total red flags up to this point. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm good to know that you don't trust me at all. I'm going to not take that at heart at all.
It's only for certain movies.
It's fine. Don't worry. It's cool.
Yeah, don't
It's all
worry.
right.
Hey, you got House and you got Ringu, and so now you got a lot of leeway. They got a lot of this movie may have pushed it back a couple, like, but you went really far, and then it just comes down, and then really.
At least I didn't make you watch Vomit Slaughter Dolls and try to tell you that was a romance, all right?
No, luckily I could deduce from the title that I may not be something that I'd initially
Want
be
to
into,
watch,
but
or question if it's even legal to own a copy of.
I mean, yeah, that's true. At that point, should I Google it?
No.
Okay.
In fact, I'll just tell you what it is. It's not even, I wouldn't even call it a movie.
No.
This one is for depraved sickos.
Yeah.
The guy who made it literally just pointed a camera and forced his, like, on drugs girlfriend to throw up and then released that as, like, a movie that's, like, 3 hours long.
Dude, 3 hours?
Something like that. It's I wouldn't even call it a movie.
You can just walk down 3rd Street, am I right?
Yeah, it's more just like a scumbag exploited his girlfriend and tried to call that a movie or art or whatever. But obviously, he's just an abusive shithead. So
French?
American, of course.
Yeah.
Eventually, our main character finally gets the guts to call her up and go, "Hey, I thought you were pretty cool. Let's definitely talk about this movie that you're going to be in."
Yeah.
And not
this
just
super awesome part where you're gonna star.
where you're going to be the star and not just let me hit on you the entire time.
Yeah. It was technically the 90s.
It was.
Yeah.
So they go together, and honestly, for a date, everything goes pretty much as good as you can expect it to go.
Yeah. I mean, no finger fucking under the table, but it wasn't really tried.
No syrupy foot job at Denny's, but they don't even have Denny's in Japan, I'm pretty sure. So
What a bummer, dude.
I know, dude.
Imagine rolling up there and there's no Grand Slams.
I'm not going.
No.
Never.
No. I was going to go, but
My vacation's canceled.
I start my morning every morning with 5 pancakes and then a nap.
Hell yeah, dude. Make those protein pancakes, too.
Yeah.
It goes pretty well. I really like how these are shot because even though it is, I want to see if you feel the same way I do on this, right? So it's supposed to be a date, and these two people are getting along. But did you feel this weird dread and loneliness throughout this?
There was definitely a just like, this is a date, but no one, I mean, it's two sad people, but it's like the restaurant is bleak too. And then the shots are kind of not as close as you would want them to be. And then when they are close, it's not as like, I don't know, it's just not as like colorful and happy. It's like since day one, these guys are not like, oh, you're cute, let me poke you. The schoolyard thing that I still do with my wife of just like, I just have a crumpled up piece of paper in my hand and I'm like, wonder how hard I could throw this at her. It's like that. There was none
That's
of
true
that.
love.
Yeah, right. There's none of that like schoolyardness to it, which, relationships come in like multiple different facets, obviously, but this definitely had more of a bleak scenario than anything else that I was akin to.
I think it's the way that it's shot, how we have our characters and they're basically put in like the corner of this restaurant and they feel so far away from everybody else. And then the way that it's shot too, even though they're just together at a table, it feels like they're so far apart from each other.
Yeah.
And again, Takashi Miike knows how to make a movie, so that has to be intentional.
Yeah. At this point, it was 77 out of 100.
And he was already in like post-production for his next movie too.
Right. I read, just because we're talking about the subject, I read that this movie took 3 weeks to shoot, which is 1 week longer than he normally wants.
Damn.
Dude, what a
I
baller.
could just shoot a movie in 2 weeks. Holy...
I know, dude. I know.
What am I doing with my life? Holy crap.
Dude, you and me both. I mean, I'm thinking about that in like two weeks. I'm trying to mix one song in 2 weeks just with the free time that I have. Granted, I'm not dedicating the entire 2 weeks to one whole thing, but I'm trying to mix one song that's 3 minutes and 36 seconds, and it's not done yet.
You know what?
I'm just like,
what are we living for if not just the art that we want to make?
Right.
Why are we devoting time to anything else? I'm quitting my job.
I'm going to quit my job too.
Suck my dick, boss man. I am quitting. I sent it to my mom. Shit. Sorry, Mom.
Dear boss. Actually, yeah. I need to get the NFL package. So.
Oh, wait, yeah.
I'm gonna keep it at least through winter. But then in the springtime, go fucking.
Springtime in 2 years from now, pal. I'm out of this place.
I'm donezo. I'm gonna.
The next day, he does what all besties do, which is you just throw baseballs at a net together.
Yeah, because obviously that's how you play baseball as well.
Yeah, on
Didn't
a
you know that?
roof.
Yeah.
Like some skyscraper somewhere with like horrible looking fake grass, and you just
Yep.
throw baseballs at a net. Boo! But Bestie, the one who basically came up with this whole scheme, is like, we tried our hardest to look into her, and we cannot find anything.
No red flags here.
If they don't have an arrest record or any record at all, that can only be a good thing, right?
Right.
Yeah, if I can't find somebody's like personal information or any records of them whatsoever.
No mugshots.
No mugshots means she's never been arrested, means she must be pretty good.
Probably, yeah. Probably for the better.
But he is kind of like, hey, look, we can't find anything on her. I know you're into her or whatever, right? I've been there before, buddy. My dick has taken me places that I wouldn't go with a gun.
Yeah.
And so maybe just proceed with caution, okay?
Right. As someone who's gotten laid the past 17 years, you
At least once.
Yeah. It's I just can't imagine what that friend was going through too, to just try and like talk him through. But we don't even know the friend's love life, if he's married or if he's like a baller or like what's.
I'm
like,
assuming he's single if he's just at a bar bitterly going, these fucking women, these girls.
Well, he's either single or been married for 15 years.
True.
Yeah.
And just mad that he can't cheat on his wife.
Yeah. I can't believe I didn't sign that fucking prenup.
So later on, our main character decides, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and call it Sami for a second time. What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah. And
here,
good thing it wasn't FaceTime.
Good thing. This was before FaceTime. Here's where we get our very first hint of horror.
Yep.
And this must have felt like a baseball across the head. Because we cut to her apartment, and she is just sitting by the phone watching it. And then finally it rings. And, hello? Oh, yeah, no. A second date? That just sounds so wonderful. That's fantastic. By the way, the only thing in this apartment is her phone, a mat on the bed, and a little burlap sack.
Casual
Nothing-
burlap.
Just a casual burlap. Nothing ominous about that whatsoever.
Totally nothing to see here.
Well, you can't see what's through it because of the burlap, but when she hangs up the phone, the shot lingers for like a little bit, and all of a sudden the bag starts moving.
Yeah, no, dude, that got me so hard.
How loud did you scream the first time you saw that?
Notably, it was. I'll have to scoot the mic back, and it was at very least.
Ah!
Yeah. Like, it got my dog from like sleeping on her side, totally passed out on the front, to like waking up with like the lines in her faces, and she's a pit bull, so like if I'm yelling, she's like, "What the fuck are we
What's
doing?
going on? What's going on? Who do I kill?"
But still half her face is like just done, and I'm just like, "Yo, we're okay," but like not on the screen. Like,
You need to attack the movie. Protect me from her. Please.
right.
Yeah.
And even the dog's like, "Just turn the fucking movie off." I'm like,
Then the dog spoiled the movie for you as a way to protect you.
yeah, exactly.
So they go on another date, one restaurant after another, which is a baller move.
For real.
And they even have like a limo driver at the end there, which was even more baller.
Yeah, I mean, the guy makes good money. And, dude, if that was 2 restaurants in Seattle, and especially one after another that looked at that quality, that's a $600 evening.
That's a mortgage.
Yeah,
That's
that's
at least half a house.
Yeah. That's an entire month of rent in the lower 45 states. like, I was trying to just knock a couple off. I'm like, nope, not Hawaii, not California, not New York, and the rest of them, though.
Yeah, the rest of
them. Like,
but the day goes well. Again, you get the sense of like, even though they're trying to talk to each other and get along, they're more or less talking at each other. They're not really talking to each other, and they're kind of just talking about how much they hate their lives.
yeah, it's a pretty good thing to bond over.
Yeah.
You know?
Signs of a healthy relationship.
Yeah, totally. I mean, honestly, these 2 characters, if this was retold as an American story, it would be 2 bartenders probably just sharing a cigarette outside and just be like, dude, I fucking like can't. But then again, bartenders would never have trouble getting laid.
I'm actually surprised that this didn't get an American remake
Honestly.
because, like, you miss a lot of cultural themes when it comes to American remakes with, like, Ringu, Pulse especially.
Oh, yeah.
Never mind, that one never got a remake. This movie is, like, so straightforward and so universal that, like, you could pretty much just make this beat for beat
Oh, yeah.
exactly the same.
Huh.
And it would probably do really well with American audiences.
I mean, yeah, just thinking of anything, there'd be a lot more blood in the American version, but
Way more, yeah.
Way more. Yeah. Like there would be no healed wounds.
Nope.
But yeah, no, I don't know why it hasn't been done yet. I mean, it's especially for what this movie is, given the right director, it could definitely be one of those movies that has like a $7,000 budget and then goes on to make 500 times that. So.
Or the worst director possible for this one, and then it ends up just missing the point completely.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like Eli Roth's version of this movie.
Oh, it would be, well, see, I don't want to spoil the ending yet. Let's talk about Eli Roth at the last third.
Well, I mean, like, yeah,
there is some
a guy like Eli Roth, right? Not to talk shit, but I am going to talk shit. The guy, like, his only takeaway would have been just the ending for this film and not what led up to it. So it would probably like start off with just like the American version of Asami, just like pulling out a dude's eyeball and then eating it, and then reading the newspaper about the audition, and then like mutilates a few people on the way there.
Right.
Shows up.
Yeah.
Immediately just like kills some girl, pulls out her guts, and like starts eating it. Right.
I mean, the more you describe it, the more I'm like, I'm down though. Like,
if it was not called Audition, then sure.
Yeah.
And not based on this, and didn't just completely miss the entire point of the film.
Right. Which you are way more versed in directors than I am, without a doubt. But if you could have anyone remake this film, not yourself, who would you go with?
Who directed It Follows?
Ooh.
You know what? I take that back. Who directed House?
Oh yeah.
Have him do it.
Yeah. Actually,
He's probably dead, but you know what? I don't care.
That is the correct answer, though.
Yeah.
That is the one that you want, without a doubt. Well,
no, I completely take that back. I want Tommy Wiseau to do a. Did you ever see The Room?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just for my own personal entertainment.
Honestly, I don't think he would go too far from the source material. I'm not saying that it would be a good movie, but I'm saying I
think it would be a great movie.
Yeah,
if we got Tommy Wiseau to do it. Okay, actually, to answer your question, I'm going to say Ari Aster, I think, would do a pretty good job with this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, that is true.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm going to go with Guy Ritchie because I want a bunch of zooms and then slow-mo and then zooms and then slow.
Hell yeah.
Nah, Ari Aster is the correct answer. Ari Aster.
That is who I'm thinking of, right? He just did Beau is Afraid.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And he's got he's
Hereditary and
Midsommar.
Midsommar.
Yeah.
So they have another date, and at one point they finally book a romantic weekend, just the two of them.
Always by the sea.
Always by the sea. What else is there to look out when you're in an island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean?
That's true. There's no desert.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And neither of them look like they ski.
Nope. Snow mountains for them, especially later on. We see Asami's legs, and they are looking pretty thin.
Yeah, yeah.
One wrong bend backwards, and that thing is snapping.
Yeah. Yeah, very, very not good.
Mm-hmm.
Very not good.
So they go to a romantic weekend by the sea, and then finally, our main character has the opportunity to lay some pipe, get laid for the very first time.
Oh,
in
yeah.
19, 20 years.
Yeah.
There's no way actual jizz is coming out of those balls. It's got to be dust.
It's just a...
So before they fuck, they're laying in bed together, and she says, "Love me and nobody else." First time watching this movie, I'm thinking, that's a weird line, but okay, I get what she means by that. She's thinking, let us just be together, just the two of us.
Yeah.
Normal, or not platonic, what is it? What's the thing where it's only monogamous? There we go.
There you go.
I'm not a perv. I don't know what these things are. I'm thinking like, oh yeah, let's just have a regular monogamous relationship, just the two of us. Only two people dating. That's what normal people do, right?
Uh-huh.
No. Not at all. It's such a small line, but then like it comes up later, obviously, and then like rewatching it, you kind of realize like, oh, this is another warning of things to come.
Yeah, because it's love me and nothing else, not love me and no one else.
Yep.
Like it is. Yeah. No. A little bit of a red flag. Like it's something you're supposed to say when you're freaking drunk and you just had a great day and you're just like, oh, man, it's just like this right here, Mikasi Sukasa, dude. I love you so much. Like that's what that line's supposed to be delivered as. No, this was a cold stoic. You have one rule, and that is only this.
Only this.
Which is crazy because like she didn't propose. They don't have no prenup. There is nothing to even say that they're in a relationship at all. She's just like, all right, I kind of like you. Now this is it.
This is it.
Yeah.
Again, this was before Tinder though, so when you're finally about to have sex, it's a pretty big deal.
Yeah. Well, I mean, especially for those two.
Exactly.
It was the weirdest, most awkward sex scene I've ever seen of just like casually undressed and then lay very still under the thing. I mean, it really did feel like 1600s medieval Europe.
It kind of was
royalty.
also like the most realistic sex scene too.
Yeah.
Just like, this is what it's like for people who are about to fuck for the first time.
In so long, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like, there's a lot of discourse right now on like sex scenes and everything. I see this all the time of just like, why don't they just like pan away to like some clothes on the floor and then cut to the next scene? We don't need to watch this. And like, if you took the sex scene out of this movie, it would change so much.
Yeah.
This is like such a necessary scene to not only see how vulnerable these two characters are and how they're willing to be with each other, but also because like you get Asami talking about how much she hates having her legs or like people seeing her legs, but she's still willing to bear them in front of him, and how like obviously awkward he is for her, like being with her for the first time in forever.
Being with anyone for the first time in forever.
Anybody for the first time in forever, yeah.
And then the way that it wraps up too.
Mm-hmm.
It would not make sense if it didn't have that real transitional shot from the like, oh, we're both here to all of a sudden Asumi is no more.
Asumi has disappeared.
Just got that fade out real quick.
He nuts within 5 seconds, passes out like a true man.
Yeah.
Same.
Shout out.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Wakes up the next day and she's just gone. Calls the front desk. He's like, hey, have you seen the nice young lady that I was with? And the front desk is like, she peaced out.
Yeah, she's no more, dude. You are
No
not
more.
with the nice young lady.
Mm-hmm.
Which it really sucks that he is not only not versed in the 2020s, but also having him not be in the 2020s because that's called ghosting, and he would have been in the clear.
He would have been fine, yeah.
You're just like, oh, cool. This is modern dating, and now I'll never talk to you again.
In 1999, third base was, or I guess home run was hooking up, right?
Yeah.
Now a home run is getting a text back the next day.
I mean, yeah. That means more than any cuddle session.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you still love me? Just like, you don't have to text me. I'm in your bed. Like,
So the hunt begins, and this is where the movie really takes off, because he now launches an investigation pretty much, trying to figure out who this person is, if he can track her down, and wants to confront her, because in his heart, he's thinking, oh no, I got used for some quick dick.
yeah, which is, I mean, you could have gone one of two ways, which is A, throw away everything and go chase this lady forever, or B, get the post-nut clarity and then just be like, that was sweet. Now I can, like, open it up to the whole plethora of other girls. But nope.
No.
For whatever reason, this very shaky, hurt woman who is mentally very unstable and just revealing to be increasingly more so
That's
by
the
the
best
second,
kind,
by second,
brother.
by second, by second. That is true. But
You're laying in bed letting her know that BDP stands for Beautiful Princess Disorder. When you show up and there's a wall of Sanrio plushies against the wall, and you
Oh,
see
boy,
like an empty
yeah.
bottle of medication next to her table that was like from 2 months ago,
Yeah.
you are going to get the best pussy of your life.
I mean, I won't deny this, but it's not something you should keep around. All right?
Good pussy can make you a hostage, all right? I feel for this guy.
Yeah. It's kind of like an assault rifle, you know? Like, you can justify having a musket, but you got a 32-round clip? That's good in the woods.
And even
Leave
better
that
in a
shit
school.
the woods. Even better in school.
Cutting that out. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
So he begins his investigation, and it ends up leading back to her music teacher, where this is my favorite scene in the movie.
This is the most unsettling. Well, not the
Not
most,
the
but
most
yeah.
unsettling.
Yeah. Never
The
mind.
ending is what this movie is most famous for, but my favorite scene in this one is the piano studio, because the lighting is so otherworldly. It feels like a
Yeah.
dream. Fuck motivated lighting. We're throwing that shit right out the window. Everything's blue and orange just
Yeah.
because I want it to be.
Because why not? I mean, there's nothing natural about it at all, but it doesn't matter because it fits with the scene better.
So there is just this strange ass elderly man playing piano, and he's trying to talk to her about Asami, and he's just given the most cryptic, don't talk to her, don't talk about her.
Yeah.
She's a devil, leave her alone.
Yeah.
And it is so strange. And now this movie has gone from romance to just taking a very sharp turn into becoming horror.
Yep.
Our main
It's pretty
character,
immediate.
yes. When I say sharp turn, I don't mean just like turn the blinker on,
No.
go like that. It is just grab the wheel, go into the medium.
It's a Tokyo drift into horror.
Mm-hmm. Because it's Japanese, I get it.
I got you. Yeah, I got you.
Our main character goes home, gets a message from his son saying, hey, I'm having a little romantic weekend for myself. I'm with my lady friend. We're studying
Yeah, studying dinosaurs.
dinosaurs.
Look at this old bone. Anyways.
I was going to make the same joke.
Oh, yeah.
And he just has himself a little drinky drink,
Yeah.
and it's a little too stiff because he falls to the ground.
Yeah.
And when he falls, we get this moment. It is straight up just like a frame. He hits the ground. All of a sudden, they're back in the restaurant together.
Yeah.
That has to be one of the best edits I've ever seen in my entire life.
I mean, you give credit where credit is due. The time jumps that happen in the last third of this movie going back and forth is so well done and not actually like confusing like some other like kind of timeline but like it's yeah, the last half, as much as it grossed me out, it impressed me. So
where do we even begin with this section here? It is so well done.
yeah.
It is, they wake up back into the restaurant. They're having kind of like a normal conversation. And I'm questioning what I'm seeing. Is this real? Is this a dream? What is happening? Cuts to the other restaurant. And again, they're having more back and forth. And I'm still like, can we go back to when the dude fell down? What was that all about?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, main character's dead wife is just there.
Yeah, because why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
And now I'm like, okay, maybe this is like a fantasy scene or whatever, but now I have no idea where this is going.
No. It starts with discomfort and then it just gets darker and darker,
Darker and darker as
Like,
things go on.
Yeah.
Eventually, we get back to Asami's apartment, where Asami immediately just gets on her knees, ready to give him a blowy joey. And he is feeling conflicted because he's starting to realize, like,
because she disappeared. Like,
not only she disappeared, but like this is wrong. How I basically lied to her to get to this situation, right?
yeah.
And he's also still feeling feelings about his dead wife, obviously, which is what we're seeing here in the last scene and everything.
Not a lot of therapy in old Japan.
Yep.
Isn't it?
He pushes her away, and she bumps into the sack.
Oh, yeah.
And that sack starts to move.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, oh my fucking God, a dude just comes out of it
Yeah.
with his legs cut off.
Dude, at the ankles of, ugh. Yeah. And very clear that the man has no tongue.
No tongue.
Nope. And cannot walk, is using this sack as his room. Mm-hmm. And
Still getting charged $1,400 a month.
yeah, definitely, dude. No, and yeah, this is where my stomach definitely churned. I was like,
Well,
okay,
not just yours, because Asami's like, feeding time, and then forces herself to throw up and then feed into a dog bowl.
Yep.
And then it's like, here, got some food for you.
Yeah, no, this movie Tokyo drifted into, oh my God.
It went from, I'm slightly uncomfortable to, I want to leave the room.
Yeah.
I want to not be in the same room as this right now.
Yeah, I'll fully admit that in a lot of cases, when stuff starts getting intense in the horror movies, I go, oh, all right, I'm just gonna look over here, or just like look down, just do whatever. And this was like not as grotesque as I feel like a lot of the other things are, and I still was just like, nope, I'm not like look.
Can't handle this right now.
Nope. Yeah. Little too over the top for me. But then we start to realize where the piano teacher's shoes feet came from.
Shoes feet is the best way to describe it. They weren't prosthetics; they were shoes feet.
Yeah, just shoot like those were Lamborghinis.
Those were gnarly.
Yeah, and I didn't like that scene.
What is going through your head the first time you're watching this movie?
I don't like it. I just.
But in a good way of not liking it, right?
Right. Yeah, like I understand where, like, yeah, it had to go over the top at some place, and it had to like really reveal itself to make the rest of the movie make sense, and how weird Asumi is being up until this point. Like, it can't just be like a stabby, cool, I won. It can't be a Harley Quinn outcome of like, oh no, this bitch is crazy. It's really just like, no, she is dark. She is the devil. Like, and just is torturing this poor soul over and over. And
well, I wouldn't exactly call his soul poor. We basically get like the whole backstory behind Asami of who she is, where she comes from. The person in the bag was her dance instructor, and it's revealed how abusive he really was. He crawls out of the bag and has like just this burning instrument. I don't even know what to call it.
yeah.
And he's crawling towards her as she's laying there with her legs spread open. And he's just like, dance for me, and takes that burning tool and places it on her inner thigh.
Yeah, which is where the marks come from.
The marks and the scars and everything come from, and her love of ballet not being there anymore.
Yeah. I can see why.
But as soon as he takes this instrument and puts it on her thighs, she screams, and then it hard cuts to present time, pretty much, where that guy in the bag is revealed to be the old dude playing the piano from earlier. And as he plays, Sami just walks up behind her with what I can only call piano wire. I have no idea what it actually is.
No.
And it says this lovely line of, well, this wire can cut through bone so easily, and just wraps it around this dude's head as he's still playing piano.
Yep.
And the last thing he says is, "You're amazing," as she just yoinks this dude's head clean off.
Yeah. That's some top-notch torture, which obviously well deserved, but that was a lot.
That was a lot.
Yeah.
His head gets cut off. It bounces off the piano, lands on the ground, and now we're back to present time.
Yeah.
And this is what this movie is famous for. It's just this one scene that's coming up here where our main character is not passed out on the ground, but he's drugged. He can't really move, can't do anything.
Huge nightmare fuel. Just that, what is it? The sleep demon thing? Sleep paralysis?
Sleep paralysis, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
You ever had that happen to you before?
I haven't seen the demon, but I've definitely woken up and like just was unable to get up and tried to like do whatever, but like nothing scary happened through it too, other than paralyzation.
I had this really weird
Yeah.
dream once where like this bug crawled across me and it looked like this giant grasshopper.
Whoa.
And I went to go like smack it, and when I smacked it, the grasshopper somehow just impaled my hand,
Whoa.
and I could feel it.
Oh shit.
And I couldn't move or anything, and I swear I felt like poison going through my body.
Whoa.
And I remember waking myself up because I kept going, help, help, but I couldn't like move my face or my body or anything. Yeah.
Terrifying, dude. Maybe that poison that was injected into you was all of the guts that you need to watch these movies.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. I don't want that dream, but I would like a little help.
I need some help after seeing this movie. So, Asami walks in.
Yep.
She's got an apron on.
Full.
This ain't going anywhere good.
No, full-on butcher's outfit.
Yep.
And she's too skinny to be a meat eater.
Yep.
That's,
And she just lays down this toolkit right in front of him.
yeah.
How do we start this, I guess? So, at first she's like, hey, I got all these needles. They're pretty cool. You know what would be really cool, though? What if these needles are in your skin?
Dude.
And by the way, you can't talk or move, but you sure can feel all this.
Oof. Total nightmare fuel of just like the slow entering of the needle in all these random places. Like, and I don't know if she has an acupuncture degree or not, but
I would
not,
assume not.
No.
That shit is definitely from DeVry or some online academy or some shit. Yeah.
You went to Phoenix. Like,
She was at home watching Jerry Springer reruns and saw that.
yeah, she's like, really need to get my life together. And the dude in the bag was like, no.
Because he doesn't have a tongue.
But this is where she shows her full level of evil and just like it's the most uncomfortable part of the movie for me by far. And I just like, it is the big ending for a while, and she's just like casually talking to him while putting plastic on the floor and then like moving his body over and then just saying like, oh yeah, here's what I'm gonna do to you, and then starts all over his body and even like face and eyes, just throwing in these tiny needles and just yeah.
She reveals her true motivation, which was, I told you, love me and only me, but you clearly have a son and you love him.
Yeah, that's the downside of raising a kid for 20 years. Is you're
What is
probably
he
gonna like
supposed
him.
to do?
Yeah. You can't just wipe that off.
Nope, my man can't catch a break at all.
No.
So as she's just digging these needles into him, right? The creepiest part of all that is when she's like playfully teasing him and then just keeps going like deeper, deeper. That gets to me every single time I watch this movie, and I've seen it 100 times.
You know what? Because of this movie, I can never
do heroin again.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, no, not a needle guy, but
you say that with a tattoo.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about you. No. Like, but the thing that drove me crazy is in Japanese, whatever she's saying to say deeper kind of sounds like kitty, and the way that her voice is, it did sound like she was saying like here kitty,
here kitty,
and it just like I can never listen to that without having the effect of thinking immediately of a needle going in someone's eye. Like it's forever. Like now I just address my cat as like, what's up, dude? Like,
how's it going?
Yeah,
cat.
And he's like, yeah, he's obviously not a kitty. He's
way too old. Yeah,
that is an old broad. That is yeah. We're like owner number 8.
In that neighborhood alone. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, I didn't like this at all. And just to make matters worse, it almost like wasn't as bad to watch, but it was worse to watch was when we saw her pull out the same piano wire.
Yep. Because, the needles aren't enough.
Right.
We're going to go even further.
This girl really likes stabby things with the worst surface area possible. I mean, at least the piano wire can cut cleaner. But yeah, so she then just moves on down to the feet, and
Why not?
Yeah, and just hilariously lops one off and then just tosses it at the window.
That is one of my favorite shots in this is from outside of the house looking in. And it's only a split second, enough time for a foot to just hit the window and bounce off.
Yeah. Just like, you're not going to be needing this anymore.
And that is such a Takashi Miike kind of shot.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know. If it was like any other filmmaker, it would be just get the basic coverage that you need. Nobody would think from the outside looking in from a window, get a foot bouncing off of it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point. It would just be like, quick, and toss, and then back here. And then But yeah, we at least have a little bit of a saving grace here because as the second foot is getting picked up and started to gnaw off, we see the door open and the son comes home early and has no fight or flight reaction whatsoever and sees his dad in a horrible tortured position on the ground and just goes like, "Oh, are you okay?" Like just unsure what to do for enough time where Asumi is able to go and hit him and start spraying him with pepper spray, right? And then so he's running away, unsure what to do, and just runs up the stairs and then has a perfect WWE kick that threw her all the way down the flight of 22 steps. Just a total Chuck Norris, just whoop-pow! Yeah. And so she lands and breaks her back and neck, and we kind of see this gross, kind of
bulge come
pulsate.
from her collarbone.
Yeah. Which, I mean, good on the kid. You must be a lot of time on that leg press machine. Just
you gotta be strong if you want to learn about dinosaurs,
dude. I mean, I guess so. You gotta have some competition. The paleontologist field is pretty cutthroat.
You have to deadlift 400-pound bones out of the ground.
Yeah, the guy does nothing but watch Predator 1 on repeat and lift dumbbells. Yeah, but and then the kid was always dumb. But this is the fucking worst, is when he goes back and walks over to his dad, who has 1.5 feet completely cut off, and then goes, "Oh, are you okay?" And then the dad's just like, "Call the cops. What the fuck?" Get at it. So immediately is like, "I need cops and paramedics and everything." And then the dad and Asumi have this, and now we don't really know if Asumi's alive or not, and the fate of the dad is hopefully gonna make it out of this, but unconfirmed. And so they just lock eyes and kind of have this mental chat for a second, and I thought that was an interesting way to show the conclusion between these two characters. But man, did it not did it not leave me satisfied of what goes on next. But you know me, I need to know that the dad's okay. And we didn't really know.
What do you want to happen? You want the dad to be okay?
Yeah.
Then that's what happened.
I guess you're right.
There you go.
Yeah. Was he able to get the needles safely removed? I hope so. That'd be a shit life. But yeah, with one of the wildest endings ever. I mean, it was cool that the boy got to save the day, because it's if he didn't love the boy, he would be dead. I mean, I guess maybe he wouldn't be attacked either, but it probably also means animals if she's going this crazy with it. So no petting zoos for him.
Mm-hmm.
But it was nice to see the boy have a cool little arc there at the end, and be able to save his dad, even though the handling of "Are you okay?" after you see your dismembered father, yeah, call the cops.
If I walked in on that, I would just assume this is what my dad's into, and this is why it's been so long, because he knows there's no coming back from this.
No, for sure not. For sure not. Ugh. Yeah, that was an ending and a half.
To say the least, yeah.
Yeah.
So what'd you think overall of Audition?
Overall, this movie starts out feeling like somewhat of a bleak, decent movie, and ends up being a wild ride that you don't see coming. And I know that you pick these movies for a reason, and there's not enough going on in the first bit to feel confident about the second. So I kind of know, I kind of had an idea of where to go, but the horrifying moments are set at a really nice but really slow, evil pace. So as far as a movie that gets you uncomfortable and scared, it made me scared as hell. And like, so like thinking about the overall rating of the movie, not that it has to be like a numerical system or just like how I feel about it coming from a very like normie scent of mine, as in like just today mentioning My Chemical Romance. And like, again, this is always my motif, but like legitimately loving the Fast and Furious movies. And like, I talk shit on Marvel movies, but like I've seen most of them, you know. Maybe not in theaters, but thanks Disney Plus. But so it's like, how are we gonna rate this for like the type of movie that it is? And so for basing it off the heebie-jeebies, this was the most heebie-jeebie movie that you've showed me yet so far. Like, it had the biggest reaction from all of the just that last, not only the last third of the movie, but the last like 15-20 minutes is just like some of the most intense shit that I've ever seen. And so it definitely, as far as these genres are concerned, then great movie. But the next time I'm going to watch it, it's probably going to be a while. It's probably going to be some time.
You need to recover emotionally first, right?
Yeah. I think the next time I watch this movie is like
Valentine's Day?
Probably.
Yeah.
February 14th. And then
with your wife?
Yeah, exactly. No, honestly have to be like at least a year from now, and then it would have to be someone who like the conversation came up of like going around these factors, and then I could just be like, let me blow your fucking mind.
Let me just show you this one thing here real quick.
Yeah, don't worry. And then the first hour of the movie is going to be this dude going like, what are you trying to show me? And then it's like, no, just keep watching.
Bro, it's a love story. You just got to watch. You got to feel.
Yeah, don't worry, dude. If you're bored now, you can just make out. Like,
yeah, well, you can just kiss, bro. It's just two dudes. What's wrong with that?
It's okay, dude.
I can
Practice
keep
on
a
me. I'll
secret.
practice on
Yeah,
you.
bro.
Yeah.
It's only gay if you're in love, bro. Come on.
Yeah, because love is gay. But yeah, this did the best job at being a heebie-jeebie, it's gonna stick with me for a while kind of movie. So it's got to be rated high. But at the other end of it, like, if you're anything like me as a total normie who I don't know, was excited to see Barbie, then maybe don't run into this one, you know. But definitely watch it, but don't run into it. Like,
still watch it. It's free on Tubi. What's the worst?
It's free
thing
on
to
Tubi.
happen?
Yeah, you're not paying for it with money.
With money.
With
just time.
money. Yeah.
The most precious of all currencies.
Yeah. How high is your hourly wage? And then how high is your what's it called? Therapy bill.
There you go.
Yeah. You just carry the two.
The reason why I showed you all of these, okay, well, I gotta think about this. Maybe House is the only exception to this. No, never mind. The reason why I showed you all of these is because not only are they the highlights, in my opinion, of Japanese horror films, but all of these movies are amazing films.
Yeah.
They make you feel things besides fear.
That's true.
And you get attached to the characters right away. All of these are very emotional human stories, despite them having supernatural elements in them.
Oh, yeah.
Or being as gonzo as the House is. Like, Audition to me is easily the most human out of all of these. There's no spooky ghosts. There's nothing scary that goes on to him.
Yeah, there's nothing
like that.
paranormal. It's all
nothing paranormal at all.
Yeah.
It's all humans, and it's all human monsters.
Yeah.
But what separates this one from like other films in this, I see this movie get called torture porn.
Oh, yeah.
And like, I disagree with that completely. Because a movie like Saw or Hostel, you don't feel for the characters at all. You're there to watch them get destroyed.
Because that's the actual torture porn, and there's also torture throughout the entire movie, where this is only torture through part of it.
Part of it.
Yeah.
Obviously, it influenced those kind of movies,
Definitely,
right?
yeah.
But what those movies are missing is I didn't want to see this dad get mutilated.
Right.
I don't want to see anything bad happen to him.
Honestly,
I feel for him. I want him to win. Where if I go into Saw, I'm going to that specifically to see a guy get shredded to pieces.
had we seen how the dude in the bag got mutilated, I think it wouldn't have like been as powerful as if we just saw the end with the dad.
Mm-hmm.
Like that made it work way more, and that's why I totally agree with you that it can't be labeled as torture porn, because that's a whole that's a whole separate genre that blew up in the mid 2000s,
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, as like, yes, there is torture in this movie,
And like, I don't even
But-
consider torture porn to even be horror, really.
yeah, it's
Because
just
like,
rough.
just because unpleasant things are happening, that doesn't make it a scary movie.
Yeah. Which unpleasant is a way to phrase it.
Whereas
Yeah.
this one, like, it's used, like, brutality is used in such a great way, but like, I feel for the character where the brutality is inflicted on.
Yeah. I mean, really, in every single one of these movies, you had someone that I would root for harder than any American film, the American horror film that I've seen so far.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, even in House, there's like those girls I want to succeed way harder than like anyone in Nightmare on Elm Street. You know, it's like because you like 'em
Nightmare
too.
on Friday Street or whatever those movies are called.
Yeah. I was trying to pick one.
You
and
get
I
the
was like,
feeling that a lot of these are stories that are being told from the heart, and all of these are like passion projects that are trying to get out there, whereas other movies that we watch are just kind of products.
right.
Yeah.
right. It's kind of hey, this movie made a lot of money. Let's try and make a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And don't get me wrong, there's good movies that come out of that too. But this, from start to finish, all of these movies felt different.
Yep.
So it was nice to start with slasher school and then go on to J horror. So you get to see the real like almost like passion with accidental outcome mixed with all monetary, like, okay, this worked, now we're gonna make something from it, and then just see the kind of like lack of passion pursue from where all of these early slashers started. And then yeah, of course there's some cool parallels between those and then the J horror, but J horror, like I said, I just cared about everything more. There's way more actually.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know the language I was reading. But I was behind every other sentence. I was like, and I still cared about them more than, I don't know. Listen, I love Jamie Lee Curtis. I can't even name her character in Halloween right now.
Laurie Strode.
Laurie Strode. Okay.
But that's
you're
because
good.
I'm a professor and you're a student.
That's true. But yeah, I totally agree with you. This was a different level of cool cinema, and just a little behind the scenes. I know it's not J, it's K, but we did see Old Boy in this too together in the release in theaters, and that totally falls under the same guidelines. Where yeah, it's not a horror movie. There's not like, well, that's where we can get in the conversation of like horror is really just the perspective of the killer / who's getting killed. And
I mean,
at
Old
this
Boy's not a
point,
horror
yeah.
movie at all.
No. Unless we didn't like the main character, and then it's you know, but yeah, even just an Old Boy, it's just like the level of feelings you have for these characters are not into something that I have used. It feels like it did when you were taking like acting class in school or like theater in school, when your teacher like firmly believed in this thing that they're trying to do, and then you see the examples and you're not buying it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like these were the parts where you buy it.
Right.
So I guess that's my final wrap up on J horror. Thank you for showing me that like this crazy thing that I would never been. I swear on all of these movies I would have watched the Americans ones first on just the sole purpose of like, oh, I'll understand it better, and then now I'll know, like going back I'll probably watch the American versions of all the ones that have American versions, and then know that like that was a bad idea. Like a bad idea.
I will say that there is a special place in my heart for the American version of Ring.
Yeah.
Solely for nostalgia's sake. That is like the movie that made me really want to explore horror more and get into it, right? It's not as good as the Japanese version,
Right.
and it does have some weaknesses in it. It's not that great of a horror film,
Sure, yeah.
but I do love it, right?
Yeah.
Whereas like the American version of Pulse,
Pretty bad.
and like, okay, you want to talk about butchering the source material? The
Yeah.
American version of House, it doesn't even take place in the house. It takes place in a hospital. And it's not even a movie, it's a TV show. I got you.
No, you totally did. You totally. I was like, "There's an American version."
Yeah, dude.
In a
sucks.
hospital.
It sucks.
Yeah. Fuck you, Huey, whatever your name is.
Lewis in the news?
Huey Lewis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, like, we were talking about this earlier. I'm actually surprised that, like, this would be such a simple movie to just basically redo Audition.
Right.
I'm kind of surprised that there isn't an American version.
Honestly.
At the same time, I'm glad that there isn't because whoever is in charge of it would just miss the point entirely.
Well, you brought up a good example of I mean, not the only person that could redo it properly, but with American films, like obviously it's pretty like money centric for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
The films that aren't money centric have way harder times through and through to try and like get out there. And the only way that Audition could be properly done in today's movie culture is if you gave it to Ari Aster. That is pretty much the only example of like not of people that could do it, but of people that could get it made.
Yeah, and like I use Ari Aster as an example just because I feel like given that source material, he would just make it really weird.
Well, I'm pretty sure that's why he made Beau's Afraid as like an entire movie, is because you got a couple of home runs that, you know, put A24 on the map, and then bada bing, bada boom. He's like, I really want to work with this Jacopo Phoenix character, and then let's see what he can do. And then I haven't seen it yet, but it's funny enough that is the one that I do want to watch out of all of his movies. You know?
Yeah.
So, but
Oh, don't worry, you'll see all of them eventually
I figured
because I will make you.
I saw half of Midsommar at a bar. That's it.
That's the ideal experience.
Yeah.
Is being in a crowded bar on a tiny TV.
I never said it was crowded.
The TV is not even color calibrated correctly, so it's just like half black and white and half pink.
Yeah, it was weird. It was set at night, the whole movie.
Mm-hmm.
It was.
I'm glad that you enjoyed these movies. Again, the whole point of me showing these to you is that horror can be a lot more than just guy jumps out of closet with a knife.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of themes with like Pulse and Ringu that will stick with me for life.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like, I'm going to get super nerdy with this, I guess, but like the first time I watched Pulse, I wanted to learn more about like philosophy and started
Ooh,
seeking
there you
out books on that, right?
Yeah.
And learning more about horror in general and everything.
Uh-huh.
So it's good to me that these stuck with you. These are some of my favorite movies, Ringu being my favorite horror movie.
Do you want me to rank them real quick?
No.
Okay.
I want you to go, they're all good.
They're all
and then
good.
just agree with me on everything.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
They're all good.
They're all great.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite out of all of them?
Ringu, House, Pulse.
I just told you not to rank them.
I did though. I did.
I hate you.
Ringo House Pulse Edition. This is the end of it, so they would have seen them all.
True.
Anyways.
This is very true.
Yeah.
You'll be thankful to know that our next block, because this season is now officially over. Yay! 2 seasons on this podcast. Can you believe it?
I know, it's pretty crazy already. And thanks for
Sticking
watching
around.
with me, checking out.
You'll be thankful to know that the next block of movies I'm going to make you watch will not have any reading in them.
Swedish horror. Oh, sorry.
Yes.
What? Yeah.
Because I want you to watch them with the subtitles off.
Okay, cool. All of them? Is that a must?
It's a must.
Okay, cool.
You can't watch these with sound either.
Well, I won't, dude. I will pitifully say no.
Okay, good.
Cool.
We're going to go into monsters.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
we're going to go specifically into my favorite monster.
Okay.
Because out of all of them, there's one thing that has always stuck with me through life, even when there was a point where they were so forced into our mainstream culture that everybody got tired of them.
Okay.
I will, and always will be, through times good and times bad, be a fan of zombies.
Yeah.
So our next course will be all about zombie films.
Damn, a whole course on zombie
A whole
films?
course on zombie films.
I'm fucking ready. Are you?
You're not ready.
No.
Trust me.
Okay.
You remember how I was just talking about how horror can be anything?
Yeah.
Same thing with zombie films.
Fair enough.
I'm gonna make you watch some shit that I know is gonna fuck you up.
I hope so. Although creature features are my favorite, like, brand of horror. So I know that I hopefully can handle a little bit
How do you feel
better,
about
but we'll see.
necrophilia?
I mean, I've never done it personally, but
Yeah, we'll put that to the test. Anyways, we can't have a conversation on zombie movies without talking about the one that started it all, one of my all-time favorites, one of the best ever made. Also, not royalty-free, but what's it called? It's in the public domain, so you can watch it anywhere.
Sick.
The classic 1960s Night of the Living Dead.
Sick. Night of the Living Dead. The Living. You know what's really cool is actually you can check it out right now on my Jimmy Nair YouTube and Instagram page. I just got a new guitar pedal and it was called Night of the Living Shred.
Hell yeah!
So dude, that's cool. And also just from Googling it, so I could save it for myself, so I know what to look for next. It is definitely available everywhere. I just Googled it. Peacock, Pluto TV, YouTube, Tubi, Sling, Roku, Redbox, Vudu, Crackle, Plex, Max, MGM, Fubo, Stars, AMC, Philo, Hulu, Apple TV, Google Play Movies, YouTube TV, and Amazon Prime. You can all find free streams of this movie.
It is in the public domain. You yourself could take a copy of this movie and upload it to your YouTube channel.
That's so sick.
If I wanted to pad out the time of this podcast, I could just start Night of the Living Dead.
We should do that.
But I'm not going to.
Yeah.
But let's watch that one. And also because it's just so on the nose obvious to talk about the Romero movies. If you have time,
Yeah.
you should try to fit in one of my favorite movies ever. This is a movie that inspired me to make movies. George A. Romero's 1970s Dawn of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead.
So we can have a conversation about both. We will talk about Day at a later time. These two movies are incredible, though.
Sick. All right. Saved and saved. Well, I'll see you online somewhere. We could watch it together. And then I'll see you next week.
I'll see you next week, and we will see you next week as well. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this podcast. Please make sure to leave a comment, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications to get more stuff like this into your inbox weekly. We do a podcast every single Friday. If you're listening to this on Spotify, make sure to leave a comment and a review. It really helps us out. Make sure to leave us a 5-star review and talk about how much you love this podcast. If you're watching on Apple or listening on Apple Podcasts, you got to make sure to also leave a 5-star review and leave a comment on talking about how much you love listening to this podcast. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to also leave a comment, comment, and subscribe. And if you're watching this on anything else, you're watching a pirate stream, fuck you. All right. Is there anything else we're supposed to shill at the end of this?
No. Good job on that, though. It's pretty good. You got your cardio in for the day.
I feel like if I say anything, my lungs are going to explode.
They will. All right.
Another successful show. Thank you so much for watching. Until we meet again, take care and stay spooky, my friends.
Stay beautiful.
You survived another episode of Spooky School. Be sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe for weekly content, and leave a review if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Check out our Patreon page for extra content too hot for YouTube. Until we meet again, take care and stay spooky.